Hey guys, I'm creating this video so that I can help you specifically with steps 3 and 4 of your final end of the year science project. I know a lot of you have had so many questions. I've had a lot of questions on a daily basis, so I hope this helps you out a little bit. Okay, before we get into the difficult part, which is answering questions about the hypothesis and the variables, which is due on Monday, here are some questions that you guys have been asking and some quick answers. Many of you has asked me, how do you submit your work, specifically for part 3 and for part 4? Now, here are the options that you can do. First, you can just simply write it on a piece of paper, then take a photo and upload it, just like you guys have been doing all year with the summaries or assessment questions. Just write it on a piece of paper and upload it. The second option is to just open up a regular document and write your answers, just like you guys did with the research one. Just a regular Google Doc and write your answers on them. The third option is a practical one, which is you create one Google Doc with the project title. So what you do is you copy the information that I wrote in my Google Doc onto yours, and then every single time I ask for a part, you just add to it and then submit it with the assignment, resubmit every single time. Right? Now, this is a common question many of you have been asking. It seems that the amount of water we put in the plants originally was a little bit too much. So a lot of your plants basically drowned, right? And some of them are rotting. Now, some of you aren't. If, for example, this has happened, then please feel free to start over. You still have a lot of time. We only need about 10 days for this project, really. So you still have a lot of time. This time, if you're going to replant from start, use much less water. I would say, for instance, 1 tablespoon per cup or 2 tablespoons maximum. Don't go beyond that. Now, another very easy thing to do is to just get 2 plants from your garden or from your balcony, or buy 2 small identical plants, even if they're like mint plants or something. Okay, very easy to buy from any mashtal on the road that your mom or dad or driver can obtain, and start from there. Now, some of you may have forgotten what the word hypothesis is, and that is one of the things that is due on Monday. Now, what is a hypothesis? Now, a hypothesis is basically the answer to the question of the project. Now, the question of the project says, how does weather affect living things? And in your case, how does weather affect your plant? So depending on what variable you're going to change, so if you're going to choose acid rain, if you're going to choose wind, then answer the question. So for instance, you can say, if my plant is exposed to a lot of wind, then something will happen. So this is what the assignment looks like. The question is there, the research you've already done, and then comes the hypothesis. So how are you going to answer this question in an if-then format? If you do so and so, then what will happen to your plant? And that is worth 10 points. But it has to be the variable that you decide that you're actually going to change in your experiment. So if you're choosing wind, talk about wind. If you're choosing acid rain, talk about acid rain. Now, what comes next is the experiment materials and experiment steps and variables. I have not asked you to do that one yet. So it's optional. You can do it now and you can do it later. I would say later. Let's just focus on the things that I asked you to do, okay? So the next one is supposed to be the variables. So again, just to clarify, you can ignore the experiment materials and the experiment steps for now, okay, and just focus on the variables. I'm going to explain that in detail now. Now, again, there are 3 types of variables. Controlled variables. What in the 2 plants is identical? Maybe the amount of soil, the type of soil, and so on. Put it in the first box. Independent variable. What's the one thing that's different between them? Maybe it's the wind. Maybe one gets acid and the other doesn't. It's got to be only one thing. You put that in the middle box. And in the last box, what are you going to look for to see what's going to happen? The height, the color, what? Now, not all of you are experimenting with the same thing. So you'll probably get different independent variables and different dependent variables and some different controlled variables. All right. So just fill this part out in the document and then send it to me on Monday. Or, like I said, you can do it separately on a different document or write it down on a piece of paper and take a photo. Okay, so some of you have been asking me about the pictures that you guys are supposed to be taking. Yes, what I want you guys to do is you're going to take pictures of every single thing that you're going to be doing the plant, pictures and videos, okay? And on your drive, create a folder, and whenever you take a picture, just upload it to that folder. Just keep uploading. I don't want them now. I'm probably going to ask you for them at the end of the project. So keep uploading, but I don't want them now. Another very important thing that I'm not going to ask for now, but you will need to show me evidence of, is you measuring the height of your plants on a daily basis. Remember the table in the chart where you're supposed to be measuring the plant heights every day since you start your experiment. You have to be filling that out daily. It's not due now, but it's due at the end of the project. Here's an image of it. So again, this is not due now, but you have to still be doing it every day. Okay? And fill in the chart. And I don't want to see it now. I will ask you for it at the end. All right, so to wrap up, what is required on Monday? The hypothesis and the table with the variables. What are you required to do every day, but it's not due now? The photos, put them in a file on your drive, and measuring your plant height and any other observations daily. Okay? Now I hope this video helps out.